Hi, I'm Kelly Wilson, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Jean Piaget and his constructivist learning theory. Piaget's learning theory is primarily about cognitive development. It explains how children think, understand, and learn. His theory, along with others, laid the foundation for constructivism. Now, looking at his stages of development, the first stage is the sensory motor stage. This stage begins at birth and lasts about 2 years. According to Piaget, this stage is dominated by children using their senses and motor reflexes like seeing, sucking, grasping to build their knowledge of the world and develop intellectually. Some specific things that happen during this stage is that children are dependent on and use their innate reflexive actions. They developed object permanency, which means they are able to know that objects can exist without being seen, heard, or touched. They're egocentric, which means they think the world revolves around them, and they're dependent on concrete representations like things and not symbols for pictures for information. Next is the pre-operational stage. This stage of development is where young children are capable of mental representations. This stage begins around age 2 and it ends around age 7. The major accomplishment of this stage is for a child to be able to use symbols to represent objects and events. Children in this stage make judgments based on how things look. They don't have the operational intelligence yet or the ability to think logically. So the absence of this ability makes it impossible for kids in this stage to conserve or to determine the quantity of an object, and then it doesn't change just because the transformation changes. So in a minute, I'm going to demonstrate conservation with my daughter who's 6. Lastly, there's the concrete operational stage. Children in this stage are about age 7 to about age 12, and in this stage they're able to begin using mental images and symbols during their thinking, and they can reverse operations. They understand that changes in physical appearance do not necessarily change quality or quantity. Important aspects of this stage include being able to do one-to-one correspondence, the basis for counting and matching objects, like giving one cookie to each classmate in their class. The next is the classification of objects, events, and time according to certain characteristics. So they understand how to put things together like big bears and little bears, or round buttons and square buttons, and so on. Classification involving multiple properties. This means the child can classify things on the basis of more than one property, like color and size or shape and size. And then last is class inclusive operations, and this means the child could be given an example of 5 oranges, 5 apples, or 5 lemons. And if you ask them whether there's more apples or fruit, they're going to respond with fruit. They understand that you classify all these objects as fruit and as individual fruits. So that is Piaget's theory in a nutshell. So basically, how that applies to early childhood is that every child is developing over time, and during each of these stages, there's certain tasks that he felt like they needed to accomplish. So for us, as we are working with these students, it's important for us to pay attention to these individual differences, whether or not they're meeting these expectations and accomplishing some of these things in stages. That way we can work with those who are struggling and then encourage those who are doing pretty well. Now, this is Presley, and she is going to do the conservation task for us right quick to see if she is where she needs to be. She is 6 years and 7 months old. She's very smart. She's doing really well in 1st grade, making all straight A's. So let's see how she does on these conservation tasks. Okay, Press, there are 2 lines of pennies here. Would you say that these are both the same?
Yes.
Okay. So if I do this, does this one have more? Does this one have 4? Or are they the same?
They're the same.
Okay. All right, let's take these 2 straws right here. I'm going to line them up just like that. Is that one longer? Is this one longer? Or are they about the same?
They're about the same.
Okay. If I do this, is this one longer? Is this one longer? Or are they about the same?
This one's longer.
This one's longer? Okay. Now let's look at these 2 balls of clay. Are they about the same?
Yes.
Okay. If I do this to this one, is this one bigger? Is this one bigger? Or are they about the same?
This one's bigger.
This one's bigger?
Yes.
Okay. And let's look at these 2 cups of water. All right, are they about the same amount in both cups?
Yes.
Okay. If I pour this cup of water in here, now, do they have the same amount, or does this one have more, or does this one have more?
This one has more.
This one has more? Okay, great. Okay, so there you go. There are Piaget's conservation tasks and his theory. Thanks. Bye.